Verstappen has been enjoying the big leagues for a while now, and rightfully so. Our boy has been slowly and gradually moving up the rungs of F1. Recently though, there's been a bit of a scuffle between the Formula One superstar and the host broadcaster of the race. As puzzling as the entire scene was, we'd like to shed some light on the proceedings. Ready your engines, and let's get into it. Starting off, Max Verstappen didn't take kindly to Sky Sports' nagging. Max Verstappen and Red Bull refused to speak with Sky Sports at the Mexican Grand Prix weekend because the world champion feels Sky has been disrespectful throughout his second title-winning season in 2022. Sky exclusively broadcasts every F1 race live in important areas such as the United Kingdom, Germany, and Italy, and has extended its contract to broadcast F1 in the United Kingdom until the end of 2029. However, the newly minted two-time champion Verstappen has stated that he wouldn't tolerate Sky's disrespect during 2022. Verstappen went on to say that it had nothing to do with this weekend, but this year has been full of continuous digging and being rude, especially from one individual. Verstappen remarked on this after winning the Mexican Grand Prix. Further, he also solemnly said that at some point it was enough and that he wasn't going to accept it, also citing that you can't stay in the past, you must go on. Next, the F1 superstar probably has a beef with one reporter in particular. The one particular guy Verstappen named is thought to be reporter Ted Kravitz, who has been a long-term mainstay of F1 programming for well over 2 decades. Verstappen didn't specify whom he was referring to, but Horner stated that comments raised in Austin were important in making the decision, adding that accusations of championships being robbed were something that they didn't feel was an impartial commentary. Verstappen was really unhappy about that, and as a team, we totally back him, and we were equally upset about it, according to Horner, prompting the decision to skip Sky interviews for the Mexico weekend alone. Max made it clear that he was dissatisfied with a number of nasty statements made by Sky. He further explained commentary needs to be balanced. Some of the commentaries are excellent, but some of the pieces, there's too much sensationalism, and we're all in this together. It's not just been Sky UK, it's been across all the Sky channels, Germany, Italy. Further, Sky channels may need to regulate their broadcast service. Red Bull driver interviews taped by F1's in-house broadcast staff are still available on Sky networks. Horner went on to say that Red Bull had become a cheap target and that broadcasters needed to be more cautious. The principal said that the world we live in is constantly eager for headlines, and he thinks sometimes broadcasters have a responsibility not to feed those. Up next, Lewis Hamilton unites with rival for an indefinite amount of time. The whole Red Bull crew has refused to communicate with the broadcaster. It comes after Ted Kravitz indicated on his Ted's Notebook broadcast following the US Grand Prix that Hamilton was robbed of an 8th F1 title. Verstappen explained his decision to shun the channel, saying that at the moment, social media was a pretty poisonous environment, and if you're continually like that on TV, you're simply making things worse rather than trying to make things better in the world. Following the race, Hamilton was asked if he thought social media had a toxic culture. The 7-time champion talked about mental health awareness and acknowledged that what is said online may be hurtful. Next, so what happened to the reporter during the race? Ted Kravitz, a Sky Sports reporter, enraged Red Bull with his comments during his Ted Kravitz Notebook post-race program at the Austin Grand Prix, following statements about Lewis Hamilton being robbed at the 2021 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Red Bull refused to do any interviews with Sky Sports during the Mexican Grand Prix. The move by Red Bull to abandon Sky Sports has split fans and highlighted the question of whether Kravitz crossed the line or not. Kravitz is alluding to the contentious 2021 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, in which Max Verstappen won the title. All year, he and Hamilton had been quite close. In the latter moments of the race, Hamilton was leading behind a safety car on old tires, while Verstappen was second on new tires. Michael Masi, the race director at the time, decided to let the lapped vehicles between Hamilton and Verstappen unlap themselves before the safety car came out, but no more lapped cars were permitted. Additionally, Verstappen and Hamilton did have a pretty close season. The 2021 Formula One season was extraordinarily tight between Verstappen and Hamilton, and following the contentious conclusion, the FIA faced a lot of criticism. The FIA removing Masi from his post as race director would imply that he made the wrong judgment, resulting in Verstappen's triumph. While Verstappen has retained his championship following a year of outstanding performance, some supporters believe Kravitz was telling the truth. It's difficult to argue this based on the remarks made by F1. Now, 7-time star athletes publicly spurned the media. Firstly, Marshawn Lynch. The former Seattle Seahawks running back gained notoriety for refusing to answer reporters' questions in post-game locker room scrums, just answering with yes, and only breaking that pattern to offer shoutouts to his philanthropic activities. Lynch was fined more than $200,000 by the NFL for refusing to answer questions. This resulted in his well-known performance on Super Bowl Media Day. Lynch addressed his opinions on the necessity necessity of having to meet the media after games before the Seahawks fell 28-24 to the Patriots in the Super Bowl. Then, Rory McIlroy. Just 2 days after Naomi Osaka backed out of the French Open, golfer Rory McIlroy backed out of the Pro-Am tournament and canceled his press conference. According to Rex Hoggard of Golf Channel, McIlroy, like Osaka, claimed personal reasons for his withdrawal. Aside from that, McIlroy's choice is virtually unknown. However, the timing with the Osaka news will definitely connect the two as possible watershed moments in sports media history. Moving on, Kyrie Irving. Before the start of the 2020 to 2021 season, the Brooklyn Nets point guard issued a statement declaring he wouldn't speak to the media and would instead let his play speak for itself. Irving went as far as to remark, "I don't converse with pawns. My time is more valuable." After he was punished for failing to speak with media early in the season, Irving and the Nets were penalized a second time in May for violating the NBA's media access regulations by failing to appear at a press conference following a defeat to the Milwaukee Bucks. Not to forget Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers has repeatedly stated his skepticism and contempt toward the media during an interview with ESPN's Mina Kimes in 2017. The All-Pro quarterback spoke out on how he views the media and its agendas, even directly addressing ESPN. Rodgers has said that there are some bad media sites where you say something or do something and they just run away with it, and that when someone thinks of you in an unreal way or says anything untrue about you, you gotta build your own judgment. We agree with them on this one. Up next, Giannis Antetokounmpo. After the Milwaukee Bucks Game 6 defeat to the Toronto Raptors in the 2019 NBA Eastern Conference Finals, Antetokounmpo abruptly stormed out of the post-game news conference. A question from ESPN reporter Malika Andrews about obtaining NBA postseason experience caused Antetokounmpo to depart the news conference early, leaving teammate Chris Middleton to handle the remainder of the session on his own. Antetokounmpo's response might have been influenced by a contentious piece released by Andrews soon after the game. After the loss, the piece put Antetokounmpo's future in Milwaukee into doubt, and the Greek freak apparently saw the story in the locker room before hitting the platform and was not pleased, according to ESPN's Stephen A. Smith. Now on to Cam Newton. Cam Newton's been friendly with the media throughout his NFL career, but the Pro Bowl quarterback has occasionally brushed off reporters. The most well-known incident occurred after he and his previous club, the Carolina Panthers, were defeated in the Super Bowl by the Denver Broncos in 2016. When questioned about how unhappy he and his teammates were, Newton abruptly stood up and walked out of the press conference after 2.5 minutes of brief responses with no genuine context. In his last statement, Newton said, "I'm done." And finally, we have Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook is infamous for his aversion to speaking with the media, but when he does, he doesn't utilize a filter. After a defeat in 2018, Westbrook ordered a reporter to answer his own question and later remarked, "Don't ask me foolish questions." Other times, Westbrook has simply refused to answer reporters' queries, stating, "Next question," or "No more questions for you," and has used harsh vulgarity in his responses. That's a wrap for this video. What do you think about the recent drama between Sky News and Max Verstappen? Does it make you recall any other similar occurring? Let us know in the comments below. It would be awesome if you gave the video a thumbs up, and please don't forget to subscribe for more scrumptious videos like these. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.